So I'm guessing by now most of you have seen that this is Battlefield 4 multiplayer trailer. This is where they gave us the name of a few new maps and gave us a greater insight into the game itself. They revealed the name of two maps, Golmud Railway and Operation Locker. Now Golmud Railway seems to be a more sort of open area map with a huge focus on vehicle combat, so that's going to be more along the lines of the conquest maps that we see on Battlefield 3 and more for sort of the big games. But the one that really interested me was Operation Locker. Now this seems to be sort of the one for the infantry fans because it's a small map, it's set in the side of a mountain, a snowy mountain, and it's the one that you can actually see on the iPad. There was a released screenshot of an iPad showing the layout of a map, and this was actually Operation Locker. Now the reason I really like the look of this map is it does seem to be one for the infantry. There's no vehicles on this map, so I really like that because I much prefer to play in the games where there are no vehicles, infantry on infantry. I just find those more enjoyable. I'm not saying I don't enjoy games with vehicles, I love a game of Conquest, but if there was a game mode that I play more often, it's things like Conquest Domination, where it is just infantry on infantry. Now this for me represented something quite promising as well, because it showed that despite all the power of the Frostbite 3 engine, DICE are not just going to throw in map after map trying to show off their new vehicles, the new vehicle combat. They're still going to focus maps for people who just like to play as infantry as well, so they're covering all the bases. Now if you do like vehicle combat, then Golmud Railway seems to be the one for you out of the new maps that were released. It seems to be a very large map with a high vehicle count, and I do think it's one that will find a lot of people enjoying playing Conquest on. Now one thing that really caught my attention in the trailer is the amount of detail that seems to have been put into Battlefield 4 as well. For example, obviously Operation Locker is going to be a very cold map because it's set in a snowy mountain, and you can actually see ice forming on the goggles of the player, and also see little details like icicles in various parts of the map, so it's nice to see little things like that. And they also revealed the aspect of LEvolution, which, if you looked on the screenshot for the iPad, there was a sort of middle pillar, middle building, and that has been confirmed as the destructible element of this map. What interested me as well is they showed the clip of it being destroyed, as you can see here, but not a great deal of information on what that actually does to the game. So could that open up new areas below it? Or could it mean if you're in the room when it's getting destroyed, you just get killed? Or, you've got to wonder what that is going to open up in terms of opportunities for the player. So I'm interested to see what that is. Now they also showed a little clip of a map which seems to be set on the Arecibo telescope, which is sort of like a very high-powered telescope with a big satellite dish to power it. And again, this was another really interesting map. I really like the look of this because it seems you can play both on the telescope and beneath it, so there's different levels of the map. So I like the look of that because all the maps, if you think about it, apart from going into the buildings and mainly on one level, there's a few exceptions like Operation Metro where you go down beneath the subway. This is going to be on different levels, so you can be above and below. And it seems the LEvolution on this map is actually the sort of metal frame itself which hangs up at the top of the radar, which you can destroy, which will then possibly fall through the glass dish, smashing that and bringing people down onto the lower level. They also showed us more footage of what I was talking about in my recent video about the ones where you can collapse dams and flood the streets, and there was a little emphasis on scale for this map, so this is going to be a very, very big map. So that's another thing they highlighted, the fact that maps are going to be very large in Battlefield 4. So they confirmed that we are going to get 10 maps as standard with Battlefield 4. Now, I think that's a really, really good deal for anyone, really. 10 maps on the standard game is really good. That's more maps than you get on games after several DLCs, so that is a really good starting point. And this trailer represented the diversity of the maps as well. They showed that each map has its own elements and a different feel to it, a different way of playing it, so there is a great emphasis of diversity on Battlefield 4. And you wonder if some of these maps are going to be tasters of the DLC to come as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And so what all these things really highlighted to me was the variety of LEvolution that we're going to have on Battlefield 4. They really have pulled out all the stops for it, and it seems every map's going to have its main focal point of LEvolution, the main destructive element. So you've got the skyscraper on Siege of Shanghai, being able to pull that down, the aircraft carrier coming inland on Paracel Storm, flooding the map on the map we've seen, which is currently unnamed, the central pillar on Operation Locker being destroyed, Arecibo telescope. Everything is going to have its own area of LEvolution, which will again add to the immersion and make Battlefield a really, really intense experience. But all in all, this trailer just further increases my excitement for Battlefield 4. I think this is going to be a genre-defining first-person shooter. This is going to be the one where we look back at in a few years' time and say Battlefield 4 is the one that changed the game for first-person shooters. But I want to get your opinions too. Which maps did you find more interesting? Like I said, mine was Operation Locker, which is why I focused on it in this video. I like the look of Golmud Railway, but Operation Locker looks much more suited to me. But also, if there's anything you saw that I seem to have missed, also let me know that. But like I said, give me your opinions, and in the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.
Yeah.